Hello, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Jacobs, and today we will be doing a Chapter 7 review of adding and subtracting fractions for your upcoming Chapter 7 test. So remember, in this chapter, you have to know how to be able to do a sum of fractions, sum of unit fractions, add and subtract fractions with the same denominators within a word problem as well. You also have to know how to change a mixed number to a fraction greater than 1, a fraction greater than 1 into a mixed number, and you have to know how to add and subtract mixed numbers. So we will cover a lot of that in our review today. So I just came up with a few questions for us to review almost every topic. Okay, so number 1 says, what is the value of the expression shown below? So we have a subtraction expression, and the value wants to know when you do the subtraction and you solve, what will the difference be? That's what we're talking about. What is the value? So it's what is it worth? So I will demonstrate the subtraction, and I like to do this how we subtract whole numbers, subtracting it vertically, one number on top of the other. So I am going to do 6 and 5, 6, take away, and 2, and make sure we're lining up. Here we have a fraction column right here. Here's your fraction column, and this is your ones, right? Which is your whole number, right? So we're always keeping in mind to line up the numbers before we do any operation. However, since we're subtracting, I have 5, 6, and I want to take away 3, 6. That is 2, 6. And 6 take away 2 is 4. So no regrouping was necessary. So the difference is 4 and 2, 6. And then I can check my subtraction with addition, which is always a good way to ensure accuracy. So I'm going to do 2 and 3, 6. And I get 6 and 5, 6, which is the original up here, right? So that makes my answer of 4 and 2, 6 correct. Now I will choose A. Number 2. Mr. Jacobs ordered a pizza on Friday night. His children ate 3/8 of the pizza, and Mr. Jacobs ate 2/8 of the pizza. The remaining pizza was saved for Mrs. Jacobs. Which equation can be used to represent the whole pizza? So basically, we're looking at a whole. And a whole pizza is, in this case, 8/8, right? And I know that the children ate 3/8 and Mr. J ate 2/8. That means that to equal the whole, which is 8/8, we have Mrs. Jacobs, right? That part was saved for her. So what part was saved for her? So far we have 5/8. And I'm going to say that means 3/8. So I have 3/8 plus 2/8 plus 3/8. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. And remember, denominators stay the same. So I have 3/8 plus 2/8 plus 3/8 equals 8/8. Okay, so my answer will be C. Number 3. Leah mixes 4 2/5 cups of orange juice with 2 3/5 cups of pineapple juice to make a fruit juice. How many cups of fruit juice does Leah make? Well, she is mixing, so it seems like she's combining, right? And when we're combining the juices, it's making a fruit juice. So keeping that in mind, I am going to add these two mix numbers. 4 2/5 plus 2 3/5. 2/5 plus 3/5 is 5/5. 4 plus 2 is 6. So we have 6 5/5. However, 5/5 represents one whole. So we have 6 cups plus an additional 1 cup from the 5/5 actually make 7 whole cups. So the answer will be D. Now be careful because these choices look like some of you would have maybe subtracted here. And if you did subtract, you would probably get either A or B. I'm not doing the work, but so be very careful because determining which operation to use is very important, because if you choose the wrong operation, that answer could be there as well. And that's what we call a distractor. So be very sure on the operation that you're doing, okay? And then check your work for accuracy. Number 4, which expression is equivalent to 11/4? So we know equivalent means equal to or has the same value. So I am looking for an expression that is equal to 11/4. So one strategy we could do is go to all the choices and determine what their values are. So for A, I'm going to turn this into an equation. 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 is 3, 6, 9, 12. Is 12/4. Sorry, I'm writing over that. 12/4. Choice B is one whole, right? Which is 4/4. So 4/4, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is 13/4. Remember, one whole is 4/4, right? So keep that in mind. So choice, process of elimination. Choice C, I have again one whole, and that is 4/4. So 4/4 plus, I'm going to rewrite this, 3/4 plus 2/4 plus 2/4 equals 4 plus 3 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11/4. So this one is 11/4, which I am looking for. So far my answer is going to be C. However, I will determine what D is. D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am adding 2/4 5 times. So basically I could do 5 times 2 is 10 and then keep the denominator the same, which equals 10/4. So choice C is the expression that is equivalent to 11/4. Number 5. The models below are each shaded to represent a different fraction. What is the sum of the fractions represented by the shaded parts of the model? So remember, a good test taker, anytime we see a fractional model, we always label it with the fraction it represents. So these circular, right, fractions are in tenths. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths. So I see that this is 7 tenths and this is 2 tenths. So when it says sum, it wants me to add. So really I'm combining the two models. So 7 tenths plus 2 tenths equals 9 tenths, which is D. Number 7, which equation is true? So that means 1 is true and 3 are false, right? False meaning, okay, true means correct. False obviously means incorrect. So we have to make sure that we're choosing the one that is true, okay? So as we go along, a good thing to say is determine if each equation is either true or false. So 3/4 plus 3/4 is not 6/8, not 6/8. It should be really 6/4. So A is not true. So 5/12 plus 1/12 is not 6/24. It really should be 6/12. So B is not true. Then I have 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2. I do agree with the numerator is 10. However, the denominator should not be 15. It should be 3 if it wanted to be true. So C is wrong. So obviously process of elimination, I know D is going to be the answer, but I want to make sure. So 1/6 plus 2/6 plus 2/6 is 5/6. Everything works out here. So my answer would be D. Number 7. Samantha has 3 3/4 cups of sliced red apples and 2 2/4 cups of sliced green apples. What is the total amount in cups of sliced red and green apples? Okay, so I do have two mixed numbers here, and the question is asking me to find the total amount of the red and the green, so I'm joining or combining. So here I'm going to be adding 3 3/4 with 2 2/4. 3/4 plus 2/4 is 5/4. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now remember, first of all, 5 5/4 is not one of these answers, okay? So that tells me a few things. One is that in the real world, when we ask someone how many cups do they have, this is where we run into the problem because this is a fraction greater than 1, or what we call an improper fraction. So this needs to be changed to a mixed number. The 5 is fine. This 5 wholes right here is fine. But we need to change 5/4 into a mixed number. So I am going to do division because it's 5 divided by, that's what that symbol means, 4. So 5 divided by 4. Now remember, to make this a mixed number, this is your whole number. So plus 1. The remainder is your numerator. And the denominator stays the same. However, since we're dividing by 4, 4, 4, it stays fourths. So now we have 5 plus 1 1/4. So we add and we get 6 1/4. So answer to the question is choice D. Number 8, which expression has a value of 4 3/8? So remember, value means that it needs to equal 4/8. So it has to be worth 4 and 3/8, sorry. So I'm going to go next to each choice and see which ones. Well, 4/4 is 1 whole plus 2/8 plus 1/8. This would be 1 and 3/8. This cannot be the answer. Choice B, 3/3 is 1 whole. 1/1 is 1 whole plus 3/8. Choice B is 2 and 3/8, which cannot be the answer. Choice C is 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So we have 4, but this is not possible because the denominator has to be 8. And right now we have fifths and thirds. So choice C is out. And I see a typo here that this denominators need to be 8s. Boys and girls, that's a typo. So those should be 8s. On your paper, I think they do say 8ths, but on mine it says 5ths. So let's just make sure. So 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 2/8 and 1/8 equals 4 and 3/8. So answer is D. Number 9. The elephant seal at the zoo weighs 4 tons. The hippo at the zoo weighs 1 4/8 tons. How much more does the elephant seal weigh than the hippo? So how much more? We are comparing, obviously, the two weights of these animals, and one is obviously weighs more than the other. So when we want to know how much more, we're really looking for the difference between their weights. So I'm going to take 4 tons, take away 1 4/8. Now in this case, in my fraction column, I don't have a fraction up here. So this means nothing take away 4/8, and I can't do that. So here we would need to regroup. So I'm going to cross the 4 out, take 1 whole away. And what I do is I give that 1 whole over here to the fraction. But 1 whole is equal to 8/8. So now I have 8/8 take away 4/8 is 4/8. And 3 take away 1 is 2. And that's why the answer is B. Ten. What is 3 2/3 written as a fraction greater than 1? So 3 2/3. So we have to change this mixed number to a fraction greater than 1. So I'm going to show you 2 ways. So first, we could think of this as break apart. So this could be 1 plus 1 plus 1. That makes 3 wholes, right? Plus 2/3. Then I know that 1 whole is 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 2/3 equals 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 is 11/3. Okay, that's one way we call it breaking it apart, right? Or we could do this strategy where we multiply 3 times 3 is 9, and then we add in 2. So basically what I'm doing is 3 times 3 plus 2, right? Denominator stays the same. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, 11 thirds. So 3 and 2 thirds is equal to 11 thirds. What is 9/5 written as a mixed number? So we have this fraction greater than 1. So there's a few different ways that we could do this. Okay. Um, we could do a sum of unit fractions. So I would add this 1/5. Remember, a unit fraction is any fraction that has a numerator of 1. So in this case, 1/5 plus 1/5, and I would need to add this 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I would make, from here, I would keep adding 1/5 till I make a whole. So I would do 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals 1 whole. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4/5 left over, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/5 left over. So it would be 1 plus 4/5. So 9/5 would equal 1 and 4/5. Another way to do this is to do division like I did earlier on one of the earlier questions. This really means 9 divided by 5. So when I do the math, here is your whole number. The quotient is your whole number, which is 1. Your remainder is your numerator, which that is 4. And your denominator stays the same. We are in fifths. So that is 2 different ways to solve that. Last question. Joseph kept track of how many miles he walked each day around the school track. The chart below shows how many miles he walked each day for 3 days. Day of the week. Monday, he walked 5 and 4/10 miles. Tuesday, he walked 3 and 5/10 miles. Wednesday, he walked 4 and 7/10 miles. Joseph's goal is to walk 15 miles. What is the total remaining miles that Joseph needs to walk after the third day? So in these 3 days, he walked each day, but his goal was to walk 15. However, it says, what is the total remaining miles? So I have to first figure out, how many miles did Joseph walk in the 3 days? So my step 1 would be to add the 3 days worth that he walked, right? And that would be adding 5 and 4/10 with 3 and 5/10 with 4 and 7/10. Okay, we're getting close to the edge here. So what I'm going to do is just add 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 and 7 is 16. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So I have 12 and 16 tenths. Okay, after I combine these and I'm going to join these together, right? Add. That's my step 1. So I have 12 and 16 tenth miles. However, this is a fraction greater than 1. So the 12 stays. So I am going to change 16 tenths into 1 and 6 tenths. So that is 13 and 6 tenths. That's how many miles he walked in the 3 days. But he needs to reach the goal of 15 miles, and he didn't. So obviously, when they're saying total remaining is what he has left over to still walk to meet that goal of 15. So my step 2, okay, would be to subtract 13 and 6 tenths from my 15. Okay, and since I don't have a fraction here in this column, I'm going to take 1 away and add it to here, 10 tenths. That one whole that I regrouped is now worth 10 tenths. 10 tenths take away 6 tenths is 4 tenths. 4 take away 3 is 1. So total remaining miles he still needs to walk after the 3rd day is 1 and 4 tenths miles. Okay, so that is a little bit of a review for your Chapter 7 test. Please make sure that you refer to the other Chapter 7 review booklet that we did, and I provided you with the answer key, as well as any notes and homework from your math notebook. I also have my Chapter 7 playlist on YouTube, so please feel free to check out those videos to review some of the individual lessons in Chapter 7. Okay, have a great day. Keep studying. See you guys soon.